What's going on, Mixon Gamers? It is Spencer, and today we're going to be going over the most underrated maps in Call of Duty Zombies history. We're doing one map per COD game, so let's just get into it. From World at War, we have Shima, and this map is underrated and I believe is underplayed. It is one of the maps that everyone skips over because there's Chrrism in front of it and also Verrückt behind it. You can't blame the player though. Chrrism and Verrückt are subjectively and literally better than Shima, and they have better atmospheres and better gameplay styles. Shima added the dogs and also plenty of other issues other players would see, like a moving perk system and also a very tight layout, only be broken up by water puddles which you cannot run through, which make it extremely hard to play this map. But that does not mean the map isn't good. I mean, the Wunderwaffe was introduced, the Flogger Trap, and also this is where we see Ultimus finally come into the picture. Shima is a fun map. It's one of those maps you go back and play just to have fun and mess around with friends, but not to be taken too seriously, what I believe Shima was going for. Although I may not come back to this all the time and play it, I believe the COD Zombies community would agree that this is underrated and underplayed. Shangri is often referred to as a bad map because it is difficult. Well, I'm here to say that is not the case. This map aged like fine wine. I mean, this beautiful map has everything to offer, including a challenge. Areas like the mud trap puzzle to the cavern areas below the map where you can train and have tight corridor action, which would be super useful in order to get to high rounds. You play above, you're not going to be having a good time, and you would think that the above spot would be good, but it is extremely tight and compact, with the caverns having a little bit more spacious action and a little bit extra of the box locations so you can hit for the box as well. You'll find most of your perks down here as well, and also find plenty of other things like the spike more, easily one of the best lethals we've seen in Call of Duty Zombies, outcompeting the Bouncing Betty and every other lethal we've had. See, the Spikemore acted like a regular claymore, but it would detonate spikes and be a really unique lethal that you could only get on this map. It was extremely useful for camping and also training as well, as it would take out many zombies, especially on the high rounds. And speaking of unique, we have the 3179 JGB 215 Wonder Weapon. This is one of the most unique wonder weapons we have. In other words, we call it the baby gun. It would shoot and then eventually you'd be able to kick over zombies. They're allowed to do damage to you, but technically this is one of the most strong wonder weapons we've ever had, and it came out on one of the most underrated maps. Of course, it has its flaw of being able to be damaged, but if you're a good and seasoned player, you should be able to use it perfectly fine. This map requires a vast amount of skill. I mean, when it comes to camping, when it comes to training, it is something you have to have. I mean, if you're not careful, the monkeys will steal your power-ups and you will be left to have nothing. The mud area in the map is extremely hard to navigate, and also the spawn area as well. There are plenty of boss zombies that will spawn here, ranging from the napalm to the shriekers. And speaking of shriekers and napalms, you have them spawning in the most frequent area that you need to go to, the pack-a-punch machine. In this area, you have to use a very coordinated system in order to actually activate it, with each player stepping on a tile. Once this happens, you're allowed to use the pack-a-punch machine with a limited amount of time. This map was made for a co-op experience. It is very harsh against solo players and a little bit less harsh when you're playing with co-op. It is easily one of the most unique zombies maps we've ever had. I mean, hell, we only have another map with zombie water slides, and that being an Infinite Warfare Zombies. This map's just amazing. It is extremely difficult, hence why a lot of people are turned off, but personally I think this map is amazing and outcompetes most other maps in the genre. Buried is the best casual experience we've ever had in Call of Duty Zombies, and nothing will ever compete to it, ever. It introduced many wacky fun things that made Zombies into what it was, a very unique and different experience with every map you played. With Buried, you could just jump in with your friends, have fun, get to a high round, and just play around. Maybe play Grief, maybe play the survival, do the Easter egg sharpshooter, all of it, you had it in this map. With things like the time bomb, which you could reverse time with and get out of a sticky situation, or maybe re-roll your perks because you don't like the perks you picked up. With the map navigation, with Leroy breaking things, you were able to get into things like full trade and other perks in other locations. Speaking of Vulture's Aid, we have one of the most unique perks we've ever seen in Zombies history. It would allow the player to pick up points and also ammo and see wall buys around the map. Honestly, it was fun, and that's really what the map was going for. Then we have the Paralyzer Wonder Weapon, one of the best wonder weapons in Call of Duty Zombies history. Name one other wonder weapon which you could fly with. Exactly, you can't. This infinite damage, infinite ammo wonder weapon was easily one of the best Black Ops 2 had to offer and has to offer in the Call of Duty Zombies franchise. This map is literally everything unique. You think about wall buys, you're like, how do they get there? Well, in this map, you're allowed to draw them onto the wall and be rewarded for it. You gained 1,000 points, and with a double points as well, you were able to get hit 2,000 and so on and so forth. It allowed the player to actually pick the location to where their wall buys were to be at. It made the map feel more inclusive because you were actually allowed to choose if you wanted a main weapon around the main area or a bad weapon in the main area, or so on and so forth. And you think that's it? Oh no, we have the Witch's House, easily one of the coolest boss arenas we've had in Call of Duty Zombies. In this area, you aren't in threat, but your points are taken away from you, and eventually once your points are taken away, then you take damage. But you see, you're actually rewarded for this. You are gaining a perk at the end, and if you have all 4 of your perks to begin with, you will be gained a 5th perk. You could keep doing this over and over until you could get all the perks you wanted in the map. After this, you would of course go to the maze area, which was a tricky and difficult area to navigate, and if you were caught lacking, you were going to die. But of course, if you have the paralyzer, you were able to get around the map a little bit easier and get over the gates that you usually had to go around and navigate the maze with. If you're looking for a casual experience, this map is severely underrated and often forgotten about. When I reflect on my gaming history moments, I often look at this because I just had so much fun with friends and also just bullying people online. Overall, it is a great map and is highly underrated. Go play it. I've always liked Zetsubou and Shima, but I've never seen the hate around this map. There are a couple issues with this map specifically, like the plant watering system and sometimes occasionally the pack-a-punch system, but I believe everything on this map is great. The KT4, the extra life and extra perk system, and sometimes the challenges can actually be really fun on this map. The Easter egg is a little bit lackluster, but let's be real here, the spider boss is probably one of the most unique things we've ever seen in Zombies history, and overall this map just provided to be a good experience that would over time grow onto people. It was no Horizon Drag or Shadows of Evil, don't get me wrong, but it is underrated and I think we all have to agree with that. There are its flaws though, like I said, the plant system and also the thrashers. They were really annoying and would get in the player's way. I just wanted to say, I know it's not long like the others, but this map is just underrated and I think everyone could kind of just agree with that. More players would have played this amazing map if it was on Black Ops 3 or had a better system, or even possibly Activision actually marketed their game. This map easily has one of the most unique atmospheres we've ever seen in Call of Duty Zombies, expanding upon 9's atmosphere and just making it deeper and more into the lore of the story. And speaking of the story, it actually has a very interesting one. You have 4 gauntlets and eventually you have to take over Dark Bruno and fight Perseus, just making it to be a great story. I've never been a Black Ops 4 fan, so if I've explained that bad, just don't butcher me, okay? I'm sorry, I don't know much about it. But what I do know is that this map was actually great, and for those that actually enjoyed Chaos and Black Ops 4 as a whole, they knew that this was a classic masterpiece that was kind of hidden. Never been a fan of the Chaos maps, but to be honest, they had some pretty good stuff, and this was honestly the crown piece to it. Cold War was an interesting life cycle, and I don't know if it's because we were content deprived, but Mauer Toten was actually a really solid map, and to be honest, I don't see much people talking about it to this day. It has a great layout, a great wonder weapon, great bosses, and a very fun high round strategy. Also, the Easter egg on this was actually pretty solid, mainly because of the boss fight, but other than that, it was pretty okay. This map had a great layout. I really enjoyed everything, including the zip lines and rappels and the ability to go through the train station, loop around and go through everything. It was really nice and just a very different experience that we've had since Black Ops 4. When people think of Cold War Zombies, typically they think of D Machine, but personally for me, I think of Mauer Toten. This is the one map I actually have fun on. Not that I don't enjoy Cold War, this is the one I actually have the most entertaining experience on. Everything on this map is just fluid. I really do enjoy it. The layout of everything from the wall buys to the perk machines, everything flows in a fluid manner, and it overall just lets everything happen in a good direction. If I had one map to pick from Cold War Zombies, it would be this one for obvious reasons. It is very underrated in the community, and I find that most people don't talk about it. But I think that wraps it about up for the whole video. I mean, if I got all of them right, or if you think I didn't get an underrated map, just comment it below and I'll get back to you. But if you made it far, you deserve a cookie, and I love you. But in that, gamers, I will see you guys next one. Hope you have a wonderful day. See ya.